Hi, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I have this phenomenal champ. I don't even know how to introduce him. Hi, Vuz, how are you?
Sure, Butifere.
Ah, sharp, 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 sharp.
Number one.
Actually, I prepared a way on how to greet you. Listen to this. Kgotso.
Yeah.
Right, right. So finally, we're having this
Re shota ka teng ya tla.
eventually. Finally, we're having this conversation.
Finally,
Finally.
finally,
You
yeah.
know, in my early days of entrepreneurship, ne,
Yeah.
there was this program that I participated in, which is a
Okay.
whereby I learned a lot. But there was this part that we were told to test the product. So I was like, you know what? Let me let this guy go live, and then
Sure,
I'll
sure.
just keep quiet. I'll never accept this thing.
Yeah.
So you should understand I have a qualification in social media marketing. So I was like, let him go live and then see the reception of what people would say. You get my point. So yeah. So finally having this conversation.
Finally.
Finally. So okay, just to bring it at home, Vusi. Who's Vusi? Who's Vusi Kumbui, and where did you grow up?
I grew up in Deep Kloof. Yeah, I'm a people's person.
Right.
In fact, I'm a product of the people.
Sure.
That's how I would call it myself.
Sure.
But my leadership capabilities
Sure.
were first planted once
Okay.
when I became the president.
Sure.
And then when I became the president, that's when I became exposed to leadership.
Right.
And it kind of fascinated me
Sure.
because I was never really interested in this thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to become an investigative journalist. And then as I was a president, and then, yeah, so that's what became a building block to, what would follow after. Yeah, Ntwana Kasi,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
and I think maybe what uh, made me who I am now is
Sure.
because growing from an underprivileged background, Kokasi, I was determined to prove that you can get out of here.
Sure.
I was determined to prove that if you work hard and you believe in yourself and you believe in your potential, you can be as great as you thought or you dreamed of being. And yeah,
Yeah, so there's a say that says it doesn't matter where you come from, but it
Definitely.
matters where you're going.
definitely.
Sure. So let's come back to the cream of the cake,
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome. So I got a DM from someone say, "But my chances,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So I just want to share the simple definition of what is
Yeah.
imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So imposter syndrome is when an individual lacks an ability to do things.
Yes.
They don't have confidence.
Yeah.
Whenever they tend to do things, they be like, no, no, no. There's certain things are meant for other people. So
Yes.
there's imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, what's your take on imposter syndrome, and how does it have an impact on the environment that we come in, and how do you overcome it?
I suffered that a lot, especially
Okay.
one day leader,
Okay.
because I get to this place and it's national television,
Sure.
and then you've got people who are debaters. I'm like, do you really belong here, guy?
Sure. Sure.
This is not fonts.
Sure.
You know, and at the same time, personally, again, out of all the people that I was competing with, I'm the only one whose father never raised.
Sure.
You know, so I never had a father figure.
Mm.
You know, I'm the only one who had a child, who has a child amongst them. So those things kind of play a role to say, but do you really belong here? I mean, this is not, you don't belong here. Yes, you've been a president somewhere. Yes,
Sure.
you've been overseas and all of that, but this is kind of like out of your league. You know, hence I was saying before we started the recording, Hore, when I went to one day leader, someone said, "When I one day leader ke fonts, mo nobody will ratang ka ding."
Sure. Sure.
So it's that, and it's impacted by the fact that hardly about to growing up, whenever we hear of success stories, re utlwa ka batho ba ko hole kwa.
Sure. We don't see it,
We
yeah.
don't see it nearby.
Sure.
So for me, it was like, but maybe this might be a pipeline dream.
Okay.
Maybe because there were times when I prepared my exit speech. Kwandile, people don't know this.
Okay.
There were times whereby I was like, okay, if I get eliminated, I'd be like, I'm Dumwaka, thank you for my 15 minutes of fame. Then I got
Sure.
NTT, ke tlhageletse ko TV, and ke a leboga Modimo like
Sure.
sa winner with
Sure.
at least kai ba ntse ba mo ke sa ba tsebeng.
Sure.
People don't know gore ko one day leader on the finals, the speech that I did at the end, I never wrote it down.
Sure.
I had written an exit speech when I started one day leader because I
Sure.
never believed I was going to win it.
Sure.
I remember calling my friend, Gary, you know what frustrates is that people believe so much that I'm going to win this thing, and I don't see myself winning it.
Okay.
Like it frustrated me because I never felt I would be able to overcome.
Sure.
The language barrier, I think, is a thing again. I mean, one of some of the competitors, Bell is white, so English is their strong language.
Sure.
The others were debaters. So, these things like kind of play into your head to say like, but do you really? And again, the lack of support that I got played into it to say, maybe people are not supporting you because you were never really meant to win. But I overcame it because of I pray. And every time I prayed, I was like, Mudimu had a plan for me being there.
Sure.
I don't know what it was, but he knew. So I was like, God, whatever plan that you had by bringing me onto this show, fulfill it. Whether I win or not, it's another story. It's fine, doesn't matter. But as long as because you predetermined me being here. Mudimu who decided that I was going to be there. So whatever that he wanted to achieve through me being there should be achieved. Whether I win or not, it doesn't matter. So I think being grounded in my spirituality helped me. Then again, I kept reminding myself, oh, you know what? I might not have debated before, but hell, I'm good. I was elected to represent South Africa overseas. I've observed elections out of the country. I've got 2 qualifications. I'm not there by mistake. So I had to also be my biggest critic and my biggest fan at the same time. So yeah.
So, okay. So you jumped over to my question. I was coming to one day leader.
Oh, okay.
But we're talking about the imposter syndrome. But I think people gets the idea.
Yeah.
So I want you to take me through the journey of the one day leader. What inspired you to be there? And what were the best moments there and the challenges that you were facing? I sense you said you had a competitor. It was
Pearl.
It was Pearl, right?
Yes.
So yeah, just take me through the journey. Just take me through the journey.
Obviously, I've never debated before, like I said.
Sure.
And then this show is broadcasted even outside South Africa because I've got friends in Botswana who watched. And they were like, can we vote and all of that?
Sure.
So I had people in Mozambique who watched it.
Sure.
So it's not only in South Africa.
Sure.
So when I get there, I was like, lights, camera, action, and then, many people on studio.
Things we've never seen before.
Yeah, I'm not used to these things.
Sure.
It was my first time literally getting like on TV.
Sure.
And I think for me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it.
Sure.
I'm going to try my level best at least to make it or to leave a mark. My aim go one day leader. Hence I was saying, Hore, I didn't believe I was going to win. But my aim was not winning, was making sure the day I get eliminated, they were like, oh, what the hell? That guy was really like, what's that?
Sure.
You know the way Kaizer Chiefs lost the league last season?
Sure.
Leading the entire campaign. That's what my wish was.
Okay.
I wanted to, if ever I'm eliminated, I wanted to be an upset.
Sure.
Like, what happened?
Sure.
I wanted to leave a mark to say, no, that guy was there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, as I knew, I wanted to accommodate people. I'm not sure if you remember the first episode. That's when it was the top 20 and I was debating on alcohol advertisement.
Okay.
And then at that time, the famous song was by Mphakama.
That was my favorite part. So that has to be
my highlight of the season.
Sure.
By Tata. Because from now, that line and that debate won people over.
Sure.
They're like, that guy was looking by Tata by Mphakama. And then automatically people were like, watch out for him. Okay. That's what it was. So then going forward, it caused the president, okay, your voice is going to work hard. I think my worst moment on the show was losing a debate to a person who was better than me on that night, and she totally deserved it. That was Uzizipo.
Okay.
No, Ungshabili 10 on that day.
Sure.
And the reason why is because we, how Lumutu, like Alana.
Sure.
Okay, Bell is my competition. Zane Lelindo.
Sharp.
Zizipo high school. So,
I can. Yeah.
And on that debate, it was the last debate before we were stopped because of the coronavirus pandemic. No, Zizipo showed me flames. And I had to say, you were better than me tonight.
Sure.
You were better in every way you can think of.
Yeah.
And for me, that was my worst moment because I had made a mistake. And another thing was, maybe mentally, because you don't know who you're debating until Pearl announces it.
Okay.
Pearl has to announce to say, leader number 5, you're debating leader number 3. That's it.
Sure.
And then when they announced it, I was like, and then I started, and as soon as she came up with an argument.
Sure.
Yo. When you're debating for the sake of debating, and then you can't just keep quiet.
And you have to just do anything. Yeah.
Yes, that was me on that day.
Sure.
And yeah, I think that was my worst moment on the show. My funny moment was debating Bell. That was the first debate I lost.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, just a pause. Who's this Bell? Who's this Bell? Can you kindly just give me a brief description of who's this Bell? You keep on telling me about her.
Is a fierce debater.
Okay.
Someone who's passionate about
Cape
Town.
Oh, from Cape Town.
Okay. She's a two-time UCT graduate. The last time I checked, she was a coach, a debating coach at UCT. Someone who's very much passionate about South African development.
Sure.
So obviously, it became a two-horse race with her on One Day Leader. So this was the first debate I lost to her.
Okay.
Another debate, I think we're debating on gender-based violence.
Okay.
And then as I'm debating, and Gabu, I'm like, wada. And then she was like, no, but Vusi, let me engage you. And I'm like, I don't have time to stop. If you want to jump, just jump in. You know, and then for me, it was like a stupid moment, a funny moment.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, I'm like, I want to entertain at the same time.
Sure.
I want to entertain the audience. I want to keep them captivated.
Sure.
At the same time, I want to win this thing.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I don't want to lie. We were all inspired.
Yeah.
Actually, when I saw that you were on One Day Leader,
Yeah.
it was, I don't know, a mate of mine, which Passion, I think.
Yeah,
He
I
posted.
know
I
him.
think. Yeah, he posted. I was like, no, Passion, is this guy Vusi the one for Mikaning? He's like, yeah. You can vote.
Yeah.
So I went through the YouTube channel and then
Yeah.
I sold. I was like, okay, if a guy from an unprivileged background can do this, I can too.
Definitely.
So I was
That
very
was the-
inspired. I kept on voting. I kept on.
That was the aim.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what has One Day Leader done for you till to date?
For me, it showed me that there's one thing I took from One Day
Sure.
Leader was that you can achieve anything and everything that you put your mind and your heart to,
Sure.
and that you are not limited to your circumstances.
Sure.
That's what it did for me. Besides the nice cash prize and the exposure.
What was the prize?
Hey,
Okay. okay.
But no, people will know.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it's for me, besides exposure, it was like it's possible.
Possible, yes.
Because I would get young kids go see, actor One Day Leader, you know, and for me, it was inspiring to say, "Oh, this is possible."
And it grounded you and shaped you as a person.
Very
to say
much.
How I imagine the community is how
Exactly.
people see me.
Exactly. And
Sure.
again, how you carry yourself. You know. So for me, One Day Leader gave me platform to be a point of reference
Sure.
at a community that I come from. Because they're able to say, you know what, Vosi did it, so can you. Because most of the time it was like, but this is a pipeline dreamy. We don't do these things.
Sure.
I usually say to whenever I bump into these guys, the entity.
Sure.
Kere,
Sure.
Today we are closing the road, Komakura. Kausan, we are feeling FNB.
Sure.
Because it has to start somewhere.
Yes, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
So I say that, you know, often when I meet them, because it has to start somewhere. Because Banyovest never woke up and then filled the dome. I always tell people that. So people need to start somewhere. You know, so for me, I'm like, when someone says, it's like, he's a point of reference.
Sure.
I'm the first person to go to tertiary and get these 2 qualifications, going for a third one.
Nice.
And then, and for someone who never wanted to study politics, I think I've done well so far.
Sure.
You know, so for me, One Day Leader, I'm reiterating this again, it gave me that platform to be a reference to say, if Vusi did it, don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a more One Day Leader.
No, yeah,
But
yes.
You
don't have to be One Day Leader.
Sure.
In anything that you do,
Sure.
you can make it. Thank you for saying that. That's very important. Because
Sure.
someone will say maybe, no, we're not all going to make it go One Day Leader or anything like that.
Sure.
But you'll make it in the hustle that you're part of.
Definitely.
If you're hustling through music, if you believe in putting the work and work hard and pray, you'll make it.
Sure.
If it's through academic, same thing. If it's through whatever but
yeah.
if you believe in yourself,
Sure.
you'll definitely make it. When I said that, we have so many success stories, but for me, I'm like, because Soweto,
Sure.
there's a point of reference.
Sure.
To say, okay, you can make it, guys.
Definitely. So I want to come to a very personal story. So throughout my research, when I kept on looking to your profile, I saw that you share a very deep sentiment about your grandparents. And a lot of people kept on asking, "Oh, why are you go profile picture? I think go Facebook, ne? Yeah, go Facebook, or even on WhatsApp, yeah, even on Twitter, right? Yeah. So they kept on asking, "Oh, why are you about whole?" So I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him. So yeah, can you kindly share, why do you share so much sentiment about those respectful people? Yeah.
My grandparents were my world.
Sure.
Um,
And please share the last goodbyes.
okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So my grandparents, they were my world,
Sure.
my anchors, maybe the people who motivated me, because growing up, I had just one dream:
Sure.
to give them the life they deserved before they went, before Batsamai.
Sure, I understand.
I was like, these people never really got that life. And ke kopa modimo le badimo ba nsikare ka matla le botlhale ba gore ke fitlhe mo tshwanetse ke fitlhe ko teng gore ke kgone go ba tlhokomela.
Sure.
So we were very close. We grew. Even my mom
Sure.
knows that the love that I had and I still have for my grandparents is unsurpassed and insurmountable.
Sure.
So it's difficult. I think I said it on Facebook the other time, Jorge. If there was a time where all these achievements are meaningless,
Sure.
it's when I realized, okay, they are not here. They never saw one day leader. They never saw my graduations, anything. And when they passed on, I asked God, and I was like, why would you let me love them so much if you were going to take them away before I could take care of them?
Okay.
But I remember how, going to their last moments.
Sure, sure.
Because I'm the one who knew their birthdays. I'm the one who knew their anniversary.
Sure.
So even my mom would call me, Konja, when is your grandmother's birthday, your grandfather, so I'm the one who knew like everything.
Sure.
So in early 2017, she started getting sick. 2017 late, then the health started deteriorating. And then I'm talking to my mom, I'm like, my grandparents loved each other. Maybe that's why I'm a hopeless romantic, by the way.
Sure, sure.
So yeah, now I love love,
Sure.
So my grandmother's health started deteriorating, and then I'm saying to my mom, Yazin, ngiyathandaza ukuthi if uNkulunkulu uthatha uyi-one, athathe nalo munye.
Sure.
Because none will live in the absence of the other.
Okay.
My grandparents' love was so much, if I can put it like that. When my grandmother was visiting us,
Sure.
and then she was on the call with my grandfather, you stopped everything that you were doing. If it's we mute the TV, there must not be any sound. It must be dead silence. And then she'll talk to her husband. Hello, Papa. Okay, Mkhatsaka.
Yeah.
Okay, my love. In March 20.
Sure.
And then once you're done, and then you can, So in March 2018,
Sure.
I had this conversation with her. So, hey, your health is bad. If you were to pass on tomorrow, what do you want? And then she tells me. And then I'm having that worry too, not my grandmother. And I'm like, okay, have you discussed this with your husband? She says yes. Okay, fine. Winnie Mandela's death, on Winnie Mandela's funeral,
Sure.
was her birthday. She was turning 77. And then I called her from the stadium because I was going to Orlando attending Winnie Mandela. I was like, happy birthday. She was like, oh, God, it's today. And I'm like, I'll call you. I'm still at the funeral, sharp. And then next month, Nekiligo Uche doing my final year, and then we are planning this excursion to the SABC for film and television students.
Sure.
So, it was, I think, the 4th. On the 5th, it's a Saturday, I go to campus.
Sure.
For some research, and then my grandfather calls me, and then he's like, your grandmother na fitlile phone. And I'm like, why? Because she's sick and she didn't want to worry you guys. So I'm like, how bad is it? She was like, no, it's bad. And then he gave her the phone, and I was like, Mama, what's going on? She was like, those are her words.
Okay.
I dropped the call, called my mom, called my uncle. They organized tomorrow. They have to go and fetch her. So it was now Sunday, KD6. So now I go home. But now they go to Hammanskraal.
Sure.
So when they came, and then they call, we're on the way, open the gate. And then so as I saw her, I was
Sure.
like, okay, now it's bad.
It's bad, yeah.
Yeah. And then we put there, and then I called my cousin, can you please come? And see her. And then I called my Mamkhuluaka, can you please come? It's like critical. And then my grandfather calls, and then they speak on the phone. Okay, sharp, sharp. So at that point, Kukwaka is starting to lose her sanity.
Okay.
And then, but as she speaks to my grandfather, and my grandmother says, ini kaurata. And then my grandfather's like, "Uthumile ka matepe, Dora. Ke tlo bona ke atla." He was like, "No, rabo renke pufedi ke re ka o rata wa nkutlwa mogatsaka." And then he was like, "Lena ka o rata mogatsaka." And that was the last conversation. And then Mamkhulaka got home, Amjesa, took her to Bara. And then as she was taken to Bara, she said something to me. She was like, her last words to me were,
Sure, sure.
and then she left. Oh, and then she said to my son, "Yo,
Yeah, yeah.
she left. So it's Sunday. Monday morning, I have to prepare to go. My mom then is preparing to go to the hospital.
Sure.
And then the call comes in. So Gatlapa, so Gutwa, Sillo from outside.
Sure, sure.
So, but at that point, I'm like, I'm not thinking it's that. Because I thought, okay, Baro Sharp hospital.
Sure.
And then Hotla Mawano was like, the hospital just called, your mom is crying, your grandmother is no more.
Yeah.
So it became that moment. About something even Garabao was, it didn't register.
Sure.
Yes, I was like, and then Mom I was like, I was like, then I just continued doing what I did. So that day I was meeting with a friend of mine. So she keeps calling, but I'm not answering. I put her my laptop, I'm leaving. As again, we're supposed to meet. What happened? And then I break out and cry.
Sure.
And then as I cried, I'm not saying to her, I say, I'm not saying to her, my grandmother, so that became like, so ever since I've dedicated everything to them.
No, that's a very sentimental story.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough time now.
Yeah.
But what's your cry for African youth and the environment that we come from? Just to wrap up.
Let's in the words of Petrus Motsebe, I'll use the words.
Sure.
In 2017, I think late 2016 or early 2017,
Sure.
Dr. Patrice was conferred with an honorary doctorate COVID. And then upon his acceptance speech, he said that was when Donald Trump was the president of America after the elections of 2016. And then he said, America will not stop being America simply because Donald Trump is the president. They will continue to become America. They will continue to be the best country in the world because the people on the ground are what make it to be. So I'll say to them, politicians do not make a country what it is. And the people on the ground are what makes a country what it is. So if we believe in our capabilities and the ability to move the country forward, we can do it. Another thing, the best form of protest in any country for change is an economic protest. Let's support black businesses, young black businesses.
Sure.
Let's support black women.
Sure.
And let's support one another. And let's not thinking pull him down syndrome, pull her down syndrome. It doesn't work. It doesn't, let's not compete. Let's collaborate.
Yeah, let's synergize.
Yeah. So I think that's the only way we can be able to overcome some of the complex issues that are facing South Africa right now.
Sure.
And the fact that education is not going to be for everyone. But simply just because you're not going to school doesn't mean you must not read. There's a difference.
Sure.
You cannot get that formal education but read a book because it helps.
Sure.
That's what I can say because I fear that we're at an age where if you're not going to varsity or college or whatever, you feel like you're a failure.
Yeah.
No, we are living in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. Let us adapt. Let us not conform.
The school of YouTube.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. Vusi, thank you so much, brother.
No, thank you so much for having me. And then, they must support the B.MM studios.
Sure.
And then make sure that we grow.
Yeah.
And then, because, that's the only way. Because if you grow, you get to hire more people. Sure. And this thing becomes national and then global, hopefully.
Sure. Thank you.
Ah, no, go leboga nna Mfethu.
Sure, sure.